Dead Rock Chapter 16 is out, and man, was this another insane chapter of this series. I enjoyed every chapter up until this point. I've had my little criticisms of it, but overall Dead Rock over these last couple of chapters has been nothing but great. The end of last week's chapter gave us the reveal that Mikoto was a Secret Service agent of Ghost, showcasing that there's a government organization that is basically governing a good chunk of the demon realm, so that's something I did not expect to see, but hey, I'm excited to see what happens with this. We get a bit more in regards to Mikoto, and we get to see what happens with the rest of the field day section of this arc, and the end of this chapter not only makes me hyped, but also concerned for the characters, because we got another big twist in this section of the story. Before we jump into things, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Dead Rock's been so fun, and now I am locked in even more than I was before. And if you want to support the channel more directly, go and become a patron on my Patreon. For just $2 a month, you get access to my patron-only Discord server, early access to videos up to a week early that aren't chapter review videos, and other details where you can recommend me stuff to review, and I'm currently setting up stuff for potential live readings or watch parties on a bi-weekly basis once I get things figured out for that. You also get your name at the end of videos starting in September, and you can potentially get a shout out at the end of the video. I'm planning to make the Patreon and the Discord server as fun and as engaging as possible to make it worth your while. And also, if you want, go and use my referral link down below for Advanced GG, and use my code GreekWeeb10 to get up to 15% off at checkout for some really nice supplements, shakers, and thermoses from Advanced GG. Really great flavors for focus, energy, and just straight up hydration. You will really enjoy it. Now with that out of the way, on with the video. So chapter 16 of Dead Rock, titled The Afternoon Portion. And we start with a character profile for Mikoto, giving us some baseline information, what she likes, dislikes, and a little bit of her character, as well as her roots, which I really do like. But on to the chapter proper. We actually start off not where Mikoto left us off, but with Ares talking to Yakuto, stating that Ghost is making their move. And Yakuto doesn't know what Ghost is, so Ares essentially tells him that the demon world has a secret service agency. They judge criminals. But Yakuto ends up stating what we all probably thought. Isn't it pretty much everyone in the demon realm a criminal? As Ares pauses and just smiles, saying, yeah, you're right. Which honestly I find kind of hilarious because, yeah, there are characters that have some righteous goals and are kind of upstanding, I guess, demons. But yeah, considering they're in the demon realm, basically everybody, to an extent, is a criminal. So having a secret service is definitely something that I was not expecting, and it's probably something why it is so secretive, maybe. But, wow, that is just something I was not expecting. But back to Mikoto and Baltagar. He is still freaking out that, well, a member of Ghost was one of his students all along. Mikoto ends up stating that on behalf of Ghost, she's going to execute Baltagar. Now, he's trying to essentially get out of this, saying, wait a second. God created Ghost, so why would you go after me? I'm one of his allies. Instead, we get a massive lore reveal. Apparently, a previous god created Ghost. This shocks Baltagar, as even he wasn't sure about this. This reveals that there have been multiple quote-unquote gods in the Dead Rock universe, which only adds more credence that the current god of this world is a fake to what Yakuto has been told about. A pretender, perhaps, and this only adds into that imposter or changing of like personality or possession, what have you. So this is very cool information, showcasing that being the god of this world is maybe more of a title based off your power, and can be like passed on or something like that, or inherited. There's still more to learn, but the fact that this is the case is incredibly good. But Mikoto goes on to say that the current god is trying to destroy Ghost, and so they're not under God's control. Baltagar is still sweating, but then he gets a glimmer in his eyes, trying to take the situation back under his control, getting a bit cocky, saying, you might be a Ghost agent, but you're just a little girl. If I send you to Davy Jones' locker, I won't have anything to fear. As then Mikoto with a smile says, if I die, he'll come. King, the head of Ghost, which makes Baltigar piss his pants. As that's revealed that this is the one person that even the omnipotent god couldn't kill. King. So not only do we have the obvious lore drop that there were previous gods other than the one that we know of right now that even created this Secret Service organization to more or less help govern the demon realm and take out very heinous criminals, but there's also the person in charge that even perhaps this god couldn't even kill. Somebody on that level of power, which is incredible world building and showcases that Mashima does have plans for introducing new characters and expanding the series even more than right now. So you bet your ass I am excited for this. So Baltigar is definitely kind of feeling the pressure. He's trying to get out of it, saying that he's kidding. And so he kind of tries begging for his life, sparing him. And as Mikoto walks forward, she tells him that when students begged them for their lives, you kidnapped them and sold them off like objects. But Baltigar keeps trying to take this away, as he says they're probably still alive somewhere. I know it, they're just swimming with the fishes. But it's then Mikoto then just plops his head on the ground with her foot on his head, asserting her dominance in this situation. Now, before I continue on, let me just say this. Mikoto has jumped up in terms of how much I enjoy her in this story, because her change in attitude and how she presents herself in this situation makes her like her even more. Zelecia is still my favorite out of the Dead Rock women, but Mikoto is very, very close to usurping her. Also, the fact that she's literally asserting her dominance in this situation can actually help. I will also refuse to elaborate a bit more on this dominance thing. But yeah, it seems like Mikoto basically has Baltigar literally under her heel. So we're going to cut back to this as we then cut to instances of other named characters that we got introduced to at the beginning of this arc from Class 1A, Deiji and Dest, as they take out even more demons and get more points. So yeah, we're going to be seeing a bit of a montage as these characters want to take out as many as possible and get as many points as possible. And it's revealed that they want to more or less take out Yakuto right now. He seems to be their main target, obviously because of him technically beating Cougar. So power hierarchy in this series is definitely a big thing. But we then cut to a bunch of other students kind of trying to be the bodyguards of the student called Setsuna, basically being a group of simps, essentially. As she essentially tries to see why they're trying to guard her, but she ends up noticing that she needs a bit more points, and so she kind of wants to take it from these guys. And so she asks them to burn for her, as she then literally in a pretty devastating 2-page spread burns all of them alive with the wave of her hand. As she just states, y'all's lives were only worth a measly 5 points. Showcasing the brutality of this entire arc. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited to see, because if she is a fire user, that is definitely an interesting way to go about it. Or there's something else, because again, all these new characters that we've been seeing, we don't know their roots, and we'll most likely get to know these roots in the later portion of this arc to give us a baseline for what their abilities could potentially be. We then get a single page montage of the rest of Class F and some of the other contestants in this arc, basically wiping out even more fodder characters to gain more points. We cut back to Mikoto as she states that she came to Dead Rock to execute Baltigar. But once she got here, she realized something. There's someone here who's even worse than Baltigar, which, as he is still shaking in his boots, she lifts her foot from his head and says, if I let you live, I want you to work for me. And yeah, the guy is freaking terrified, saying he'll do whatever she wants. And with a pretty, I'm gonna be honest, psychotic looking smile in my opinion, just tells Baltigar to act like a teacher whenever they're in public. So Mikoto essentially has one of the 4 high-ranking characters of the series under her boot, and is basically going to be acting like her own spy, essentially, a spy for a spy. How this is going to play out, I have no idea. Now, this other person that she's interested in taking out is most likely the literal god of Dead Rock, so that's definitely going to be the case. And so I'm curious to see this whole interaction and dynamic between these characters and how this is going to play out for the rest of the story. This is definitely another plot thread that I'm very keen to see expand a bit more. But after this sequence, we get a huge ring that the round has essentially ended. Essentially, the morning portion of the field day has concluded, and so everyone's going to take a 1 hour break, and it'll cut back to the afternoon portion. And it'll be a tournament fought among the 8 individual highest point wielders. So we're getting an actual tournament within this with brackets, and we'll get to see the matchups later on in this chapter. So, the students who survive, celebrate, and even members of Class F like Zelecia, Hani, and Frey end up talking about their point totals, and Frey has a total of, well, 17. So, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with this. But we cut to the inner rooms of Deadrock, seeing God in his throne room, as Lilith appears and states that the afternoon portion is about to begin. But God then asks her to give him a number, just any number off the top of her head. And she says 666. He then waves his hand over a little globe of the earth as a bunch of light spreads from it, showcasing a boatload of explosions over the course of the earth. And what did he do? Well, in the human world, he just made 666 towns be destroyed by meteorites. So, yeah, he just did this for fucking fun. I mean, granted, we literally saw him earlier on in this manga just appear at a drought town that was praying for rain and just utterly destroyed when they were praying for rain. So, the fact that he wiped out 666 towns with meteors, yeah, the man is sadistic. And Lilith ends up being excited by this, and regretting that she didn't say 690,000. Now with that amount, that probably would have wiped out the entirety of the human race. Now, I do have to say this. God ends up saying that Baltagar ended up only stating 1 as the number that came to his mind when he did this exact same thing, stating that he is a very tedious man. So, and this ends up getting to him just sulking in a cave after the interaction he had with Mikoto. So, I have no clue what this is going to entail. Who knows? Maybe God ends up knowing that Baltagar is compromised and is under Mikoto's control now. We got no clue. Or maybe he will be in the dark. But still, this is insane to see because the guy is powerful. God's powerful. But he's also sadistic in this world. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. But we cut to later on in the day to the afternoon portion of the tournament, getting to the actual tournament of the field day arc, and I love the look of this Coliseum. It looks really, really cool. As in this instance, we actually get the bracket reveals for our matchups for the rest of this arc. And the interesting thing is that, well, not only is Yakuto in this bracket against one of Class 1A, but Frey is immediately matched up with Laozen, one of the demon teachers. So, the person that she wants to have revenge and kill for what he did to her older sister, she's getting her chance at revenge, like, instantly. Right now. So, oh boy. This 2-page spread is honestly pretty incredible. And, we got our matchups. I'm incredibly excited for this. And Frey is also excited to finally take on the person that kind of tortured and killed her sister. Now, some of the nobodies in the crowd are wondering why Ares is not in the tournament, but he just nonchalantly says that he lost to Yakuto in the preliminary rounds. As Yakuto's like, that's not exactly what happened. As we all remember, Ares just used his powers to have Yakuto knock him out without much effort or trying because he didn't want the attention. Maybe he knew that there would be a tournament portion, he just didn't want to stick out and just wanted to graduate like he stated. But the fact that he knows about Ghost, maybe Ares himself is also a secret agent in Ghost, or at least some sort of connection to this organization. The fact that in the instant Mikoto revealed herself to Baltagar, he knew. I'm still thinking that that's the case. But that's all I can really say at the moment. Eiji ends up looking at Yakuto, stating, "You again, huh?" As he is then shoved on the shoulder by his opponent, who is named Lloyd, telling him to keep his eyes on him. As we then see Setsuna wondering who her opponent is, as we see the giant elongated head guy just jiggling his head called Virgio. So, yeah, that's going to be her opponent. I'm curious to see how that matchup is going to end up being, if we'll get a full matchup or whatever. But she says that he looks absolutely revolting, which I wouldn't say revolting. I say kind of weird, if I'm being honest. But Frey is getting excited for the actual tournament, as she's telling Yakuto to meet in the final round so that they can face off against each other, and he wishes her his best. But it's then that God appears to make an announcement, saying that there's only one rule in this tournament, and that this tournament is a fight to the death. If in order for you to win, you need to kill your opponent. As the final page showcases all the participants for this tournament, as he states, only one of you can survive each fight, ending the chapter. So, we got a death match right now for the ending portion for this tournament section of the story. Meaning that Frey either dies to Lauzen or kills Lauzen in this confrontation. And if, let's say, she does make it to the final against Yakuto, seemingly she might not be able to forfeit the match, and so the two of them will have to fight to the literal death. Now, Mikoto is a lich. She has necromancy. She could revive them if their bodies are not completely destroyed or eviscerated like what happened with Hyde, so they could come back as zombies under her control. But again, it also ends up being the risk that if Mikoto dies, they will end up dying as well. So, yeah, huge massive stakes right now, because seemingly the only way for you to win your matchup is if you die. So I do hope and pray that Frey beats Lauzen, but if she makes it to the final and Yakuto makes it to the final without dying, I have no idea how this is going to pan out. Seriously, this is going to be insane, unless they somehow fake their deaths to get out of it, which I don't know is going to be the case, but man, that is crazy. And not only that, we also have the reveal of Ghost being created by a previous god in the Dead Rock universe, and that the leader of that is King, the person that even someone as powerful as God wasn't able to kill. So that is incredibly insane to really think about. And the fact that Mikoto has one of the 4 demon teachers that are remaining under her heel, and basically at her beck and call now, acting as her own spy. So the gears do be turning right now, and I am incredibly excited to see how this is going to pan out for the future of the story. But what did you guys think of this chapter? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.